Okay, welcome to the next part of the orientation partnership section. If you have made it this far, you are either doing this as a partnership or considering doing this as a partnership. This next part is going to tell you if you're ready to proceed past here. Okay, so we are on the Module 2003 Partnership Readiness Self-Checklist. Now, at the top here, I wrote listen to the audio prior to filling out the checklist. We're going to listen to that together now. If you scroll down to the bottom, this MP3 down here is what we're going to be listening to. Now, before you step into this journey side by side, just pause here for a moment. Let everything from the outside world fade away, because this part right here matters more than you might think. Walking the Codex as a partnership isn't just about learning side by side. It's about healing side by side. And healing, it asks for a certain kind of soil to grow in. It asks for willingness, for trust. It asks for space to be raw and human without fear of judgment or control. This checklist that you're about to fill out isn't just a test of how good your relationship is. This is a mirror. It's here to help you see where your foundation is strong and where it might need more tending before you build something deeper on top of it. So as you move through each statement, answer with full honesty. Not how you want things to be, but how they actually are right now. There's no bad answers here. There's only data. And information is power, because it shows you where to focus your care. And you'll learn in the blueprint that your energy is your currency. And focus is how you direct where you spend it. If both of you can say yes to most of these, then you're likely standing on solid ground and you're ready to walk this path together. But if many of them feel shaky, that's not a failure. Again, it's wisdom, it's data. It's your relationship saying, we might need to strengthen a few things before we take this leap. You can still each walk the Codex individually, build that foundation within yourselves, and revisit it as a team when the soil is ready. The truth is that this journey will ask you both to hold space very vulnerably. And vulnerability cannot thrive where there's fear of ridicule, disrespect, or retaliation. It will bring up discomfort, and that's not a problem, that's part of the work. But it will also show you your capacity to grow closer than you've ever been, if you both choose to approach it as allies, not adversaries. Remember that this is not about proving that you're perfect for each other. It's about proving that you're willing to evolve with each other. It's not about doing the work for your partner. It's about committing to your own growth, even as you walk side by side. And it's not about fixing anyone. It's about learning to love each other through the becoming. So take this checklist nice and slowly. Talk about the answers as you go. If there's an area that feels uncertain, name it together. Not as a weakness, but as a place to nurture before you step into the labyrinth. Because the deeper the roots, the more expansive the growth. And this is where you dig those roots. This is the first act of your partnership blueprint. Meeting yourselves and each other honestly, before the real work even begins. Okay. So on number 3, under module 2, we just listened to the audio that's talked about up here. Now, this is the checklist. It's nothing crazy. It's just a few prompts, a few questions, okay? But then at the bottom here, if you checked 8 or more, if you checked 5 to 7, or if you checked 4 and fewer. Now, we did the foundational agreements. You should only be here if you've already agreed to all 4 of them without question. That shows you if you should consider walking this as a partnership at all. This shows you how ready you are so that you can interact with the material and one another accordingly. Okay. So that is yes or no. And then this is how ready on that scale. So please don't continue on to this if you have not wholeheartedly and honestly agreed to all 4 of those foundational principles that we talked about in orientation part 1 of the partnership. Okay. So we're just going to go through this list. We both genuinely want to do this work, not out of guilt, fear, or pressure. Yes or no? Here is where you need to be honest, because if one of the partners is doing it for the other partner, it's not going to work. You're going to cause damage instead of healing. It's not going to work. It's going to grow into resent, because when we feel like we're being forced to be vulnerable, or when we're being vulnerable not out of choice, it's going to either turn to resentment or shut down or some combination of them. So first and foremost, if you can't answer yes to this, don't even do the rest of the list. Number 2, we are willing to be deeply honest with each other even when it's uncomfortable. Obviously, there can be fear and a little bit of nerves attached to this. Yeah, that's normal. But the key word is willing. Are you willing to try while also maintaining those 4 foundational principles? Not you against your partner, but both of you against the pattern or the problem. We feel emotionally safe sharing our truths without fear of ridicule or retaliation. Question 1, are you ready? Question 3, are you acknowledging that you also feel your partner is ready to hold the appropriate space for you that you'll need? If this is a no, it's not a make or break. It is, hey, this is what I'm going to need from you. Can you agree to this? Here is where you set the foundation for what's to come. So it's important to do that and not hold back now. Holding back now is going to create tension, pressure, like air being sucked out of a closed container. We want to avoid that by being honest here now. We can disagree without disrespect. Very important. Very important. There's going to inevitably be things that you're not going to agree with. There's going to be perspectives that are being shared that you might not be able to see from that lens. Where is your boundary for yourself? Making sure that each of you are aware that you each have a boundary for yourself when it comes to respect. Making sure that each of you are aware of what the other views as respect. You can't know if you're disrespecting someone. I mean, you can, but specifically in regards to this, what do I mean? If you are upset, you can ask, do you want solutions or do you want silence? Silence or solutions? That tells your partner to be either an active listener or a shoulder to cry on. Now, if you ask that and you say, I want silence, and the other person is giving you solutions instead, that could be a line of, I feel disrespected because you did not uphold my boundaries. So that is what I mean by that. Also, not throwing things in one another's face would be a clear sign of disrespect. So when it comes to respect, always consider Do you want silence or solutions so that they don't feel disrespected by maybe just what would have been a misunderstanding? We are both committed to healing ourselves, not just fixing the other person. If you're doing this because you think there's something wrong with your partner and you think that this is going to make it better, this is not going to work for you. This is not that. This is not that. This is not couples therapy. This is learning how to pour into yourself so that you can also overpour and overfill into the relationship. It's not fixing. We are willing to apologize, take accountability, and make changes. You may mess up. You probably will. That's normal. People doing this individually only have to worry about themselves, okay? If you're doing this with a partner, you're thinking twice about everything because you're considering your own and their path because you agreed to intertwine them. So being willing to apologize, being willing to still say, okay, I can see it from your perspective. I may have not acted initially in the way that is in your best interest, but you brought it to my attention and now I can see it. Okay. So being willing to say, I see it and I'm going to show up differently next time is very important, as opposed to saying, oh, I'm just the worst, or, oh, maybe we shouldn't do this. If you're doing this as a partnership, you're probably going to be tested somewhere along the path in one of these areas to show yourself that you can do it, to show yourself what it looks like when you apologize, to show yourself what it looks like when you see your partner take accountability, to show your couple together what it looks like when a change is decided on, acted upon, and maintained. So don't look at those opportunities as failures, because they're not. They're opportunities, so long as you see them as that. We understand that vulnerability may bring up discomfort, and we're prepared to meet that together. Imagine being a kid and having your safety blanket put in the wash. Now translate that to adulthood. That's what's happening. You may feel like, oh, I need that back. That I'm cold now. I'm exposed now. I'm out of my element now. How would you want? Now, again, we're translating this from child to adult, but let's put it in child perspective. How would you hope that your partner would meet that child version of you whose blanket was just put in the wash? You know it's coming back. You know it's going to be okay. You know it's coming back better because it's going to be clean. It's not going to make you ill because it's dirty. So the partner knows this. How would you want that partner to hold space for you? Okay, because that's what this statement is all about. You know that you're doing the work to make something better. That doesn't mean you're not still going to feel exposed or uncomfortable in some parts of it. Making sure you have some kind of plan of how to hold space for one another, and knowing before going into it, when that occurs, when my partner's blanket's in the wash, what's my plan of how to show up for them? And if you don't know, ask. Okay? Hey, partner, when your blanket's in the wash, so to speak, what do you need from me in that moment? Or will that change and you'll just tell me in the moment? If I trust you to tell me, I'll know how to show up. If you tell me now, I'll know how to show up. Communication. Okay. We have discussed and agreed upon how to pause or take space if the work becomes overwhelming. Come up with not like a here, this part is, there is later, but this part isn't a safe word. This is like, if it reaches this point of contention, if it reaches this topic and we can't get away from it, where's our, okay, we're going to pause. We're going to turn around. We're going to take space. Come up with some kind of hard line before even starting. Okay. Because that way you'll know when you get there, instead of being like, are we there yet? You'll know. And you might not be at that line, but close enough to the line where you're like, okay, what we wrote down, what we discussed, we're getting in that hot zone. Let's take a minute. We trust that this is a shared journey, not a competition. Again, never you versus your partner, always both of you approaching the problem. And we can both commit to regular check-ins throughout the course. Again, very important, so that you know if you're on the same page and you're maintaining that. The daily and the weekly check-ins are available. So this completes this section. We're going to go into the partnership promise next. I just want that in a separate video.